All right, folks, just a quick one here. I've talked about this limitedly in the past, and I'm going to talk about it again, probably multiple times in the future. I have made no attempt to hide what I believe politically, religiously, personally. I'm not going to ever hide my personal beliefs. Now, my personal beliefs do not change what is in this book, or that one, or the others up there. History is history, okay? We look back at Darius throwing Daniel into the lion's den. We look back at Xerxes attacking Sparta and being all but defeated by a minuscule force compared to his own. We look back at Rome abandoning Britain and then the turmoil that happened there. We look back at the U.S. becoming the U.S. We look at any part of history, and it's a very simple thing. What happened? When? Who was involved? Sometimes we can be told or find a reason why. Xerxes was a tyrant, power hungry, wanted to rule the world. Darius was convinced of his own divinity. Rome was losing money and people fast. The U.S. was being told to bow to a tyrant. So we can find reason in that sometimes. My own personal beliefs do not change that. My own personal belief is that Joe Biden is a very ill old man being used for his name to install Kamala Harris as president. I firmly believe that if the DNC manages to cheat their way to a victory, at some point between then and the second the oath is over on 21 January 2021, Joe Biden will be declared mentally unfit to hold the office of president. Kamala Harris will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, or possibly as the 46th if they get rid of him before the inauguration. Joe Biden doesn't know who or where he is most of the time, but he can read a teleprompter. This is why they're pushing to have no debates, because they know even with a teleprompter, he will be destroyed. Because if there's a teleprompter there, Donald Trump will forcibly say, why don't you just turn the TV around? I'll debate the teleprompter, not him. If he's wearing an earpiece, it'll be obvious. They know that in a fair election, they cannot beat Donald Trump. They knew it in 2016, and they tried everything they could to cheat. They've tried everything they could for the past 4 years to undo the 2016 election. Those are what I see and how I interpret personally what is going on. Now, it's going to be a good long while before we get to anything considered recent history, which I would say the last 20 years, in discussing this on the channel. And at that point, most likely, I will treat this the way I would treat a history class. If, when I get to the current president's era, whether it is the first day of his first term in office, or 90% of the way through his second term in office, that's current events. That's not history to me. That's discussed in psychology, social psychology, sociology, and government classes, not in history. You see, until 20th January 2017, Barack Obama's presidency was not history. It was current events. And even then, it takes a year before I consider it history, because it's still influencing the world. It's very simple. When I get to 2009 to 2017, I'm not going to be talking about my own personal feelings on anything Barack Obama did. Okay? I firmly disagree. I vehemently disagree with his pardon of the traitor Manning, who, as a soldier, released confidential information that likely put other soldiers' lives at danger. But it doesn't matter if the person is Jeffrey Dahmer, who live streams himself eating babies. The president can pardon whoever the president wants to pardon, with or without explanation to anyone on the planet. It's that simple. I might mention that it was done, but that's it. Because it doesn't matter who the person is or what they did. The president has the authority to issue a pardon for any reason. Much like current President Trump issued a stay or a commutation of sentence for Roger Stone, an octogenarian who the left seems to want to have died in a cold prison cell. Stone flat out told him, I don't want a pardon. Stone is still convicted. He is still a felon. He is still going to lose certain rights. He just happens to get to live at home until he no longer is living. But the left loses their ever-loving mind on that, but has no problem with anything Barack Obama did. There are certain times when that must be discussed. Certain things, such as 2012, we have to pass it in order to find out what's in it. A member of the House of Representatives blatantly telling the entire country, you're not allowed to know what this law is until it's law, and then you must obey it, because then it's law. Those type of things, you may hear certain inflections. You may be able to discern a bit of what you think is how I feel. No human on the planet can 100% hide their bias about everything all the time. It's just that simple. I have t-shirts that show my support for certain people or causes. My wearing a t-shirt on the channel as I am giving a recitation of history does not change what the history I'm reciting is. Never will. Now, no, were I teaching in a school, I would not wear a t-shirt, period. I would be wearing a polo shirt with nothing on it, or a button-down collar with a tie. It's that simple. When I was teaching, that is what I was expected to wear all the time. And it's just the way it is. I can remember in elementary and high school and middle school, and this is in the 80s and 90s, teachers did not wear comfortable or, casual clothing. Even the coaches were in polo shirts, even when they were in shorts on the sideline. It's just the way it was and the way it is. I am not a teacher in a classroom. I'm a guy in a shed, for crying out loud, until I finish it. But I'm someone who has a passion for history. And while I could probably rattle off, 230 odd years of American history with some reasonable success and be right about it, like historians all over, I'd use a lot of books. And I go back and I check my information and my beliefs and my thoughts, my recollections against multiple sources. Most of them, if I can, are going to actually list the primary source. For example, the next video we have in class time is going to discuss basically 1783 to 1789. Although it will actually be broken into at least 2 videos. But that is this document, the United States Constitution. That is the primary source. Yes, I'm using my other books for other information about that, but when I actually discuss the Constitution, I go to the Constitution. Much like we're seeing in the news today, the Constitution very simply states that the President of the United States has a duty to appoint a nominee to fill any vacancy on the federal bench, including the Supreme Court. Nowhere does it say that the election of president should delay that. In fact, in 2016, Barack Obama did not wait until whoever was going to replace him, because he could not run again. He nominated Justice Merrick Garland after Justice Antonin Scalia's very suspicious death. But now 4 years later, Ruth Bader Ginsburg sadly passes away due to complications of cancer. and the Democrats and the rest on the left lose their mind because they want the president to obey them. And when he doesn't, they scream and yell that he should be impeached for actually doing what this document says he should do. You see, this video, I don't hide my bias. I don't try and keep it in. I very firmly believe that Nancy Pelosi, Charles Schumer, Barbara Boxer, Dianne Feinstein, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, everyone else with a D beside their name, and many with an R beside their name in the House and the Senate, are firmly working to ensure that Donald Trump is removed from office and likely prosecuted for working for free for Americans First. It's the first time in, elected in 2016. That would have been 28 years. First time in 28 years that we've had a president that was truly working for Americans First. The last was Ronald Reagan. Herbert Walker was just another D.C. swamp monster. W has a good heart, but he still followed right along with the swamp. Donald Trump is not a politician, never has been a politician, never has been very soft-spoken, is very blunt, very to the point. And until 2016, people loved him because he's rich and they could get money from him. But as soon as he announced he was running against Hillary Clinton, he became Satan himself, proving that the world is full of morons. I don't like hiding commenters from the channel. I don't like blocking people, but I will. And I don't block for disagreeing. I don't hide you for disagreeing. I hide or block someone because they can't simply disagree. Either they are verbally abusive from the beginning, or they cannot accept that someone doesn't think like them. I've done it in the past, I will do it again. And that's just the way it is. It's my channel. And I realize that may end up having people unsubscribe until they're sycophants to unsubscribe. But if you cannot accept that the world is not going to parrot your ideas back at you and praise you for them, if you cannot accept that people believe differently than you, then if you cannot accept someone stating that and refusing to change, then you're wasting everyone's time in the comment thread. And if when presented with someone who doesn't change their point of view to match yours, you immediately jump to insulting them, you've proven you have no worth and no reason to be commenting on my videos. I don't like and I don't want to do that, but I will. It's, in my mind, the same as telling someone they may leave a room I'm giving a speech in. Imagine you are at a lectern delivering a speech on a given topic and someone keeps interrupting you, screaming about how you're wrong and you're a racist for not accepting you're wrong. You wouldn't let them stay and keep doing that. If you would, you shouldn't be a public speaker. I've had people try and interrupt me and demand I change what I'm talking about. I don't accept it in real life, and I won't accept it on YouTube. It's that simple. I'm not going to apologize for it either. That's all for today. It's a short one, a very simple one, but it is true. Make sure to be back on Wednesday when we start looking at the beginnings of the United States as a free country, and we start looking at how we got to the Constitution that we have. Make sure, let me know what you think, but in line with this video, if you make a comment and someone disagrees with it, be civil. Don't insult them, don't call them names, don't demand that you're just right and they're wrong. Discuss, dissent, debate. Most of the time, when I do that, neither of the people involved, myself or the other person, ends up winning the other person to their side of the argument. I've had debates going back and forth with friends of mine for 20 plus years. We keep finding new information and we keep restating our argument and adding these new supporting facts. The other side does the same. But we're civil. I have friends I've been doing that with since high school. We will revisit old conversation topics all the time. It's a lot of fun to me, as long as you are civil. You jump to name calling and insulting, you're gone. It's that simple. Nothing more to it. I do hope that you subscribe. I'm doing the giveaway at 500, 1,000, and 1,500 subscribers. I got to get there first. Until next time, have a wonderful day.